Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Heavy Repping. My name is John Tron Davidson and I'm here once again in our super best lots of chirping test location in the southwest of England. So today sees episode 2 of Face Off, in which I'm going to take two extremely important plectrums and face them off against one another. Now really I could do this with any two picks, however this week I have chosen, because this is close to Christmas, the Jim Dunlop 35188 against the Flow series. Before we get started today though, a big shout out to who are absolutely amazing, and I'm very much looking forward to any and all recorded output they might have, and a big shout out to my good lady Gabrielle at the Den Exeter, because she got me this shirt for my birthday. Thanks very much. So it's worth noting that this is a big deal for Dunlop. To the casual layman who's not into the Plectroverse deeply, what they're looking at is a new shape of an existing pick. But it's not just that. Dunlop standardised the 351 or their Tortex series in 1981, and they have been the mainstay in the guitar game since. Literally everyone you've ever met will have played one of these, or at least at the bare minimum know what it is. This is a bold new step for Dunlop because they're putting a lot of onus on this as the new tradition of Tortex. So it is with great excitement that I do this face-off test. Let's start with the 351 through the stickboard and Wem, see how she sounds. So let's talk very quickly about the 351. Your granny knows what this is, your dog knows what this is, your bus driver knows what this is. This is a classic, no questions asked. I always found, when I was growing up, I found these a little bit lumpy before I kind of knew any better, and I knew that there were other options out there. I always felt that the 351 felt a little big. Now that I've got such a keenness for the Jazz XL, that kind of all makes sense, because it's a little bit smaller and more ergonomically swift, let's say. Those of you who are used to using these, there's nothing wrong with them, but viewed in this context, it's quite interesting. So I'm going to play the Flow, and I'm going to tell you why that is. If I may be allowed to eulogise on such an idea, I personally think this whole thing of the move from 351 Tortex to Flow is quite a big deal for Dunlop. After all, if you're talking about saying this is the future, they're not forgetting the past of course, but to put so much onus on this when they already have a totally ubiquitous game-changing pick here is quite a big deal. It's not every day that a company that's making you know, something that does so incredibly well says, okay, it's had a 40-year run, let's see what happens with this thing. When I've used picks like this in everyday life, I've always thought, it's a pick, I can, you know, I do it. Before I really got into this, I just pick them up and use them. That's the whole point. This feels, the sound is pretty similar, it's not the same, there's a little bit more body to this, but viewed in the context of the flow, it seems so be huge and unnecessary, and there's a sort of flap sort of sound that comes if you're playing acoustic or if you're playing unplugged electric. In all honesty, I wasn't conscious of it until I'd gone from the 351 to the flow and back again, but that is what we're talking about here. What I did find is that if you use both of these side by side, there's much more resistance coming from the 351 because you've got a bigger shape and because you've got to drag through the strings, blah blah blah. Whereas the flow, it felt much easier, is the best way I can describe it. And truth be told, while you have a sharper tip and therefore a bit less bass than you get from a 351, I would gladly trade that in just for ease of use. And if you're somebody who for whom Delrin grips beautifully, and I'm not one of those people, having something like this where there's no resistance and you're just banging through the strings, isn't that better? Isn't that a better thing to have? I think a lot of people will still want to use the 351. I mean, it's been a staple for 40 years in the whole, globally in the industry. But if you've never tried one of these, go and do it, because they cost the same amount of money. So it's not like I'm asking you to drop 15-20 quid on a pick here. Go to your local shop, get a bag of these, spend a five or whatever, see how you get on with it. If you don't think that it's easier through the strings, if you don't think that there is a greater elegance to it, and if you don't think on balance it's probably the better pick of the two, I'm not sure what to tell you. You have to discover that for yourself. But for me, if my money was going to sit on anything, I'd go with the flow. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Face Off, and I will be back next Tuesday with more from the Plectroverse. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share and subscribe at all the links and the stuff and the bell and the... My name is John Tron Davidson. This is Heavy Repping, and I shall see you soon. So just remember, if you're not sure what to do in life, rep hard and rep heavy.